Hello everyone, welcome back to another card tutorial, and this time we've got a double corner tuck card. So I made this using the Boo To You new knick-knack from Knit To It Collections. You can see there's some 3D foamed, and it worked really well for this knick-knack because it sort of opened up and revealed the haunted house inside. So this is all one image, which was designed to match the Halloween gnomes. So I used the Halloween gnomes kit then to add all the extra details. Now, one thing I would have liked to have done after completing, of course, looking back in hindsight, was if I'd done a little hole there and I could have like hung a spider or something there, because when you have your card up, you can actually hang things from this center point to add some extra interest. So I had the two little gnomes on the front, and then it opens up, but it stands up. And it's a really interesting shape. So I've done the single version. So if you've watched that video, it's basically the same technique, just with another one on the other side. But I thought I'd do it with something different. So I went for Coastal, which is another Knit To It Collection DigiKit. And I like the DigiKit because I get the 2 layers of paper. There's only a single layer cut out, if that makes sense. So I've got a matten layer without adding extra bulk, making it thick. Now, one thing I will say about my cards is a 6x6 envelope is tight if you do a 6x6 card. So when I do a 6x6 card, I actually make it 5 3/4. And that's extra important for this one because you do have a lot of bulk. So it will still fit into a 6x6 envelope. So this is how then I would print out all my layers. But of course you could use any of your patterned papers and just cut panels the sizes I'll tell you later on. And because we're decorating the outside and the inside, all the measurements are exactly the same. So I was able to print 2 and just double click in Microsoft Publisher, which is what I use, or whatever software you've got. You just changed all those. So I had 1 page done. The second page was literally insert a duplicate page and just changing the toppers and the background papers. And all the decorations did come from those 2 A4 sheets. So let's have a look at how to make the card. So this time I'm going to use a piece of white cardstock. I've got my trimmer, and to make the most out of my A4 cardstock, I'm going to cut this at 10 3/4 by 8 1/4. So the 8 1/4 is actually A4 as it is. So all I need to do is 10 3/4. So just one little cut. So all my panels here are all 2.5 inches. So I'm going to score 2.5 inches here. Rotate it and 2.5 again. And along the top, we've also got a channel, so we want 2.5 there. That leaves us with our 5 3/4 panel square here in the middle. That's our card base. And then with the long piece at the top, I'm just going to mark at 5 inches. So if I do it with a pencil, you may be easier. And, oh, actually, I will use this. 5 inches there. There we go. So there's the pencil line. And what we're going to do is line up those two pieces in our final channel of our scoreboard. So I've got my pencil line or my score line there and there. I'm going to do a diagonal line. And that diagonal line comes through that cross we did earlier. So now I'm going to flip it over. I'm going to mark a 5. And with my 2.5 here, 5 there. We're going to take it to the side, to that last channel. And score. And that's all our score lines done. So 2.5 and 5, 2.5 and 5 from each of the top corners, and then 2.5 and 5 down each of the sides. So then the top flap comes over. So we're going to fold and we're going to burnish. The sides are like a gatefold, so we're going to bring them in. So both of them coming inwards. Okay, so the top comes down and the sides come in. Then we're going to fold the two diagonals backwards. So we're going to sort of create a mountain fold. And then when you sort of pop those bits, these sort of come in, this, bring it down, and those squares sort of form themselves. And then just iron out. If your scores aren't perfect, don't panic. This bit here, you can sort of manipulate and get your card into the shape you want. And as I said, you have got, for the 6-inch envelope, a little bit of leeway each way. So if it does stick out a little bit, don't panic. There we go. And that is your double corner tuck card fold done. And then it's just a case of decorating it. So to save some time, I've already cut them out. So these panels go on the front, sort of gatefold parts and the inside ones. So when you're decorating them, you need to make sure all the elements are down towards the bottom. The squares are brilliant. They're just normal. And then on the inside, when I opened it up, you might have noticed we had trick or treat here. If you're going to do that, on one of the long panels, you just put your sentiment towards the middle and in the center. So let's start off with the easiest part, which is our main panel. So our main panel, our square is 5 3/4. So my panel is 5.5 inches. And because it was a digital kit, I was able to do that copy and paste and create a duplicate image, which meant it's exactly the same. So what I've done for the end is I've cut some elements. Well, actually, I've only done the 3 middle elements for this one and can 3D mount that later on. Then our other easy panels are the squares. So let's put the compass ones on the front. So make sure your card is down, and then make sure north is at the top. So you want to assemble these bits with your card folded up because of the orientation of things. So because things do twist into position. So if I had this open like this, you would have noticed the north is actually facing in there. So if I was decorating it, it's very strange orientations and would become complicated. So always fold your card up before sticking down your elements. Then open it up. I would put the squares in here as well. Just opened up so I've got my wording, the correct orientation. There we go. And now we're going to start doing these side panels. So I've got 2 anchors to go on the front. So the way I've done this, oh sorry, my panels here are 2 1/4 inches. That makes sense because it was 2 1/2 inch score lines. So now these panels here are going to be 2 1/2 inches. So my mat and layers here, my toppers, 2 1/4 inches by 5 1/2. So I think of it as the complete rectangle, and I've made my topper to match. So now I'm lining it up in the middle. That diagonal score line underneath is actually going through the corner of my topper, which is perfect. And then I'm marking where the score line comes on my topper there. I'm going to take my ruler and I'm going to draw a line. If I take my scissors, I'm going to cut down that line. And this one, I'm going to place just beneath the score line. And this one just above the score line. So I'm exposing that little score line, which means my card will fold much easier. Okay. So now, with that cut, you're not creating a fold inside that score line with the paper as well and creating that bulk. So we do exactly the same on this side. So that is lined up with the score line. That bit is lined up with the score line. I think you could do with a sharper pencil. And again, just lining them up. So you can see now, because I put those anchors down towards the bottom, let's just move that over a little bit. They are exposed, you can see them. So the last little bit now is our top panel. So I'm going to do 2 pencil marks this time, just save time It won't be as neat, I know, but there we go. It's a bit risky, but just trying to try and save some time, because now you know what the process is. Take your time and use that pencil. And add the triangles. There we go. So that, oops, I need to expose. So you could see then how tricky it was to fold it when I hadn't exposed that score line enough. So it opens up, and then of course you don't have to decorate the inside. I think it does finish it off nicely. So we're going to do exactly the same. On the inside. And then the two corners. Then the last little pieces. So one of the beach huts. And we'll just show you that backing paper. You probably couldn't see it from far away, but it's full of all those little coastal elements. And it's one of my favourite papers from the kit. And I have used the coastal ones a lot to make masculine cards. But since this knick-knack with the couture sailor dress has come out, it's now able to make more feminine cards. There's one. And the final piece. But as you can see, it's just a bunch of rectangles. So the matting and layering is much easier than it looks. And then, just while all that's drying, let's add some foam pads. And down the middle. So if you are going to do some 3D mounting like I'm doing here, I would avoid putting the elements near the top here because you've already got all these layers at the top. So try and keep it towards the middle and the bottom. Line that up. Clear the things away for you to have a look at the completed card. So that is my double corner tuck card using Coastal Papers by Knit To It Collections. And this was my Halloween gnomes, again with Knit To It Collections. And a really interesting fold, lots of details, and perfect for any occasions, especially masculine cards. I think we all like these different folds and things, sort of paper engineering things for male cards. Yeah, so same fold, two very different cards. So thank you for watching. Hope you've enjoyed. If you do have a go at making one of these following this tutorial, please share a photo with me in my Facebook group called Paper Crafting with Paul. Just type it into search, it should pop up. Otherwise, just have a look in the description below and you'll find a link to the group. And you'll also find a link to the Knit To It shops and to the kits I've used. So if you do like these particular papers, head over to the shop and get hold of them. And if you have enjoyed it, please give it a thumbs up and a comment. I do like reading your comments and hearing what you think of the cards and the tutorials. And it really does help my channel as well. So thank you for watching and I'll see you all again soon.